嗨，周末愉快，我是 Jenny， 欢迎来到 Jenny 周末来闲聊。今天我们来聊一个超有趣的话题，你有没有想过，古人也会压力大，没有手机，没有网络，没有社群媒体，听起来很轻松对吧？但他们有战争，有饥荒，有皇帝随时可能砍你的头，那种压力，我觉得比滑手机焦虑还要大。所以今天 Jenny 就带你穿越时空，去看看古人到底怎么减压的。从中国到家的老子，到宋代文人的生活美学，从古罗马的温泉文化，到维多利亚时代的奇特疗法，跨越几千年的减压智慧，今天一次告诉你。而且我敢保证，有些方法你现在还在用，只是你不知道是古人发明的。准备好了吗？我们开始咯。好，先从我们自己的老祖宗说起。大约2500年前，有一个人写了一本书，这本书只有5000个字，薄薄的一本小册子，但却影响了整个东方世界几千年。你猜到了吗？对，就是老子和他的《道德经》。老子这个人，说起来也很神秘。他在春秋末期做过史官，相当于现在的国家图书馆馆长，每天看各种典籍文献，观察各种政治兴衰。然后他看透了一件事，人类最大的压力来源是什么？是不停地跟自己说，我要更多，我要更好，我要更降。老子说，这就是痛苦的根源啊。他提出了一个概念叫做无为。很多人误解这个词，以为无为就是什么都不做，躺平的意思，但其实不是这样的。老子说的无为，是顺应自然的意思，不要强迫，不要硬撑，不要逆着水流游泳。他有一句话我很喜欢，致虚极，守静笃，让心里的空间变得宽阔，保持内心的安静与笃定。你看，这不就是现代人说的冥想吗？老子在2500年前就已经告诉我们，清空脑袋，让自己静下来，这是最好的减压方式。而且老子还说了另一个概念，叫做知足者富，懂得知足的人才是真正富有的人。这句话放在今天还是超有道理的。你每天滑手机看别人晒名牌包，晒豪华旅游照，然后觉得自己的生活好廉价。老子如果活到现在，应该会对你说，孩子啊，你真的需要想想知足是什么意思了。老子还有一个很厉害的观察，他说水是世界上最柔弱的东西，但水却能穿透最坚硬的石头。他说人也一样，不需要用蛮力去解决问题，柔软，有弹性，顺着势走，才是真正的力量。你看，2500年前的老子说的不就是现代人说的弹性思维吗？心理学家说有弹性的人更能应对压力，更不容易被困境打倒。老子早就知道了啊。说完老子，我们来说说庄子。庄子是老子思想的继承者，但他的个性跟老子不一样。老子比较像智者，庄子更像一个天才艺术家，有一点疯狂，有一点浪漫，超级会讲故事。庄子有一个超有名的故事，叫做蝴蝶梦。他说他梦到自己变成了一只蝴蝶，在花丛中飞翔，感觉非常快乐自在。然后他醒来了，发现自己还是庄子，但是他开始想一件事。他说，我到底是庄子梦到蝴蝶，还是蝴蝶正在梦到我是庄子？这个问题听起来很哲学，但其实是在说一件很实际的事，就是你的烦恼是真实的吗？你的焦虑是真实的吗？还是你把自己困在一个梦里，出不来了？庄子用这个故事告诉我们，换个角度看问题，世界就会不一样。这不就是现代心理治疗说的认知重构吗？2000多年前，庄子已经在教大家心理疗愈了。而且庄子还有一个减压方式，非常特别。他喜欢在大自然中漫步，观察树木，观察鸟兽，从大自然中找到生命的节奏。他说大自然从来不焦虑，春天来了花就开，秋天到了叶就落。他不会想着今年要比去年长得更好看，他就是顺着节奏走。庄子说， 我们人也应该这样。这个道理说起来简单，做起来难，但庄子自己确实做到了。他活得很自在，连楚威王要请他去当宰相，他都拒绝了。他说，我宁愿在烂泥里自由地摇着尾巴，也不要被笼住。你看，古代最顶尖的智者选择了在大自然中放空，而不是去当大官。这个选择在今天看来也很有智慧。庄子还有另一个很有意思的观点，他说人最大的痛苦来自于比较。你看到别人有的东西你没有，你就觉得自己不够好。庄子说了一个故事，有一种叫做蝉的小虫子，它在树上跳来跳去，觉得自己的世界很大了。但有一只大鹏鸟，一飞就是9万里高。蝉看着大鹏说，它为什么要飞那么远呢？我在这棵树上就够了嘛。庄子说，每个生命都有自己的节奏和尺度，蝉的快乐不比大鹏少，大鹏的壮阔不比蝉更好，各有各的圆满。这个故事放在今天，就是在说比较心理。你不需要活成别人的样子，你的生命有你自己的节奏，你的快乐不需要跟别人一样大。这个道理说起来容易，但真正懂了的人，压力真的会少很多。好，说完道家，我们聊聊宋代的文人。宋代是中国文化的巅峰时期，那个时代出了很多了不起的人物，苏轼、欧阳修、范仲淹，这些人不只是学者或诗人，他们是真正懂得生活艺术的人。而且宋代文人的减压方式真的超级精致，超级有品味。第一个就是喝茶。你可能觉得喝茶很普通吗？但宋代的茶道可不是普通的喝茶。那个年代流行一种叫做点茶的方式，就是把茶粉放进碗里，加入热水，然后用一种竹子做的刷子快速的搅拌打发，让茶产生细腻的泡沫。这个技术传到日本之后，变成了今天我们看到的日本茶道。你看，我们老祖宗的东西传到日本之后才被发扬光大，有点令人感慨啊。但宋代人喝茶不只是喝茶，他们把它变成了一种竞技，叫做斗茶，就是比赛谁的茶打出来的泡沫更白更细腻，比赛谁的茶碗更漂亮。宋代的茶人们会在茶碗上用茶墨画出各种图案，山水、花鸟、文字。这个技术现在被我们叫做拉花，就是你去咖啡厅看到咖啡上面有爱心图案，那个其实是宋代人发明的，只是后来用在咖啡上面而已。所以当你在星巴克欣赏拉花的时候，你其实是在欣赏一个有将近1000年历史的艺术，是不是很浪漫？宋代文人喝茶，喝的是一种仪式感，是一种让自己从繁忙政务中抽离的方式。这种透过专注于某件小事来放空脑袋的方式，现在有一个名字，叫做正念。除了喝茶，宋代文人还有另一个超级厉害的减压方式，就是玩石头。你没听错，玩石头。宋代有一个大文豪叫做苏轼，我相信大家都知道他。苏东坡，他不只是会写诗写词，他还是一个超级厉害的美食家。东坡肉就是他发明的，但你可能不知道，他还是一个狂热的赏石迷。他有一个很有名的石头，是一块天然形成的砚石，形状很像一座山。他把这块石头当作宝贝，每天看它，把玩它，还写了很多诗赞美它。他说，您是这块石头，就像您是一座真实的山，内心就会自然平静下来。这个其实有现代科学支持的哦。研究发现，人类看到自然界的碎形图案，比如说山脉、树木、石头的纹理，大脑会自动进入一种放松状态，压力荷尔蒙会降低。所以苏东坡玩石头减压，不是迷信，是有科学根据的。苏东坡还有一个故事很有意思，他一生被贬官很多次，从繁华的汴京被贬到偏远的黄州，又被贬到惠州，甚至被贬到那个年代几乎等于天涯海角的海南岛。但是每一次被贬官，他反而都过得很快乐。在黄州他发明了东坡肉，在惠州他爱上了荔枝， 在海南他学习了当的文化，他有一句话很有名，说此心安处是吾乡，不管身在何处，只要内心安定，那里就是家。这种面对逆境的态度，放在今天就是心理韧性的最佳示范。苏东坡告诉我们，环境不能决定你的快乐，你的心态才能决定你的快乐。宋代文人还有一种特别的生活方式，叫做烧香，不是拜神用的那种香哦，是一种叫做香道的艺术。他们会把各种天然香料，沉香、檀香、龙脑，按照不同的比例混合在一起，然后用特制的炉具慢慢燃烧，让香气在房间里缓缓飘散，一边闻香，一边读书，一边与朋友倾谈。这整个过程其实就是现代的芳香疗法啊。现代有很多人会在家里点精油扩香气，说是可以放松心情，其实宋代人就已经在玩这个了，而且他们对香的要求还更高，必须是纯天然的，不能有任何添加物。说起来比现在的有机精油还讲究。宋代有一个故事很有趣，有一次几个文人朋友在一起喝茶聊天，其中一个人带来了一种很珍贵的沉香，大家就围着那个香炉安静地坐着，闭眼感受香气，没有人说话，就这样静静坐了很久。然后有人说，这是我这一个月以来最安静最舒服的一刻。你看，1000年前的人就已经懂得用静默和香气来疗愈自己了。宋代文人还有一种有趣的减压活动，叫做雅集，就是几个朋友聚在一起，没有任何目的，就只是欣赏艺术，喝茶聊天，欣赏彼此带来的书画和骨气。这种聚会没有商业目的，没有工作压力，纯粹是为了让心灵得到滋养。这个其实就是现代心理学说的社交支持对心理健康的重要性。有研究显示，拥有深度友谊的人，压力水平明显低于独来独往的人。宋代文人早就知道，好朋友一起喝茶谈天，比任何药方都有效。好，说了这么多中国的减压文化，我们现在飞越太平洋，去古罗马看看。古罗马人的减压之道，可以说是整个西方文明里最科学、最系统化的一套。古罗马有一样东西非常有名，就是公共浴场，拉丁文叫做 thermae， 现在我们说温泉的英文 thermal， 就是从这个字来的。古罗马最大的浴场是卡拉浴场，建于大约1800年前。那个浴场有多大呢？可以同时容纳1600个人泡澡，而且不只是泡澡，里面有冷水池、温水池、热水池，有按摩室，有图书馆，有餐厅，有运动场，有艺术展示厅。说是浴场，其实更像是现代的大型复合式休闲中心。而且更厉害的是，这个浴场是免费入场的，或者只收非常象徵性的费用。因为罗马统治者认为，让人民可以放松身心，是维持社会稳定的重要手段。你看，古罗马的统治者比现代很多政府还要懂得照顾人民的身心健康的重要性。古罗马人每天去浴场，不只是为了洗澡，他们去那里聊天、谈生意、辩论哲学、欣赏艺术，甚至找物件，整个社交生活都在浴场进行。有一个古罗马作家叫做塞内卡，他是著名的斯多葛哲学家。他有一段很有趣的描述，他说他住在浴场附近，每天都听到各种声音，有人大声唱歌，有人在比赛举重，有人互相叫骂。他说那个热闹的声音一开始让他很烦躁，后来他学会了在噪音中保持内心平静。他说这反而让他更能专注。塞内卡的这个发现，在现代被叫做噪音冥想，或者叫做都市静心。很多现代的冥想课程都是在教你怎么在吵闹环境中保持安静。塞内卡2000年前就已经在练了。古罗马人的另一个减压方式是花园文化。富裕的罗马人会在自己家里设计精心的花园，里面有喷泉，有雕塑，有各种花草植物。他们相信亲近自然的环境 可以让精神得到恢复。这个想法在现代被称为疗愈性景观设计。研究发现，绿色植物和流水的声音确实可以降低人体的压力荷尔蒙，所以现在很多办公室都设计成有很多植栽的环境，大型窗户引进自然光，甚至有室内瀑布造景。这些设计背后的逻辑，其实就是古罗马人2000年前就知道的事。那说到古罗马的哲学，就不能不提斯多葛主义。斯多葛这个名字听起来很学术，但它的核心概念其实超简单，就是3个字。我说，控制圈。斯多葛哲学家说，人生中有些事是你可以控制的，有些事是你无法控制的。你能控制的是你自己的想法和行动，你不能控制的是天气，是别人的看法，是股市涨跌，是你老板的心情。斯多葛的核心智慧是，把你的精力只放在你能控制的事上，对那些你无法控制的事，就放下吧。这个哲学跟现代的认知行为治疗有惊人的相似之处。心理治疗师也告诉我们，焦虑的根源之一就是把大量精力花在自己无法控制的事情上。斯多葛哲学家马可奥里略，他是罗马皇帝，每天要应付庞大的国家事务，还要打仗，但他每天还是会花时间写日记，写自己的想法，提醒自己哪些事值得在意，哪些事不值得。他的日记后来被集结成一本书，叫做《沉思录》。这本书到现在还在卖，还是世界上最畅销的哲学书之一。一个2000年前的罗马皇帝写的日记，现在还在影响全世界几百万人的思维，是不是很了不起？马可奥里略有一句名言，他说，你拥有的力量比你想象的多，你能忍受的比你以为的多。这句话每次我在压力很大的时候读到，都觉得很有力量。你也试试看。好，我们再往前跳一大段时间，来到维多利亚时代，就是19世纪的英国。那个时代是工业革命蓬勃发展的时代，英国人第一次大规模体验到了一个叫做现代生活压力的东西。工厂的生产节奏，都市化带来的拥挤，生活节奏突然加速了好几倍，人们开始生病，失眠、焦虑、神经衰弱。那个年代的医生非常流行诊断一种病，叫做神经衰弱，英文叫做 neurasthenia， 基本上就是你如果感到疲倦、提不起劲、容易焦虑，他们就说你得了神经衰弱。疗法呢，非常多种，有些听起来很有道理，有些听起来，说真的，有点匪夷所思。第一种疗法是去乡下住一段时间，医生说城市的噪音和烟尘会让神经系统受损，所以要到空气清新的乡村去休养。这个其实很有道理。现在的研究也发现，在自然环境中待上一段时间，确实可以降低大脑的过度活跃状态，让思绪平静下来。第二是療法，叫做休息疗法，是一个叫做威尔米切尔的美国医生发明的。这个方法很极端，病人要被安排在床上躺着，完全不能活动，不能读书，不能写字，不能见朋友，就只是躺着。这个疗法后来被很多女性批评，说它是男性医生强迫女性病患顺从的工具。有一个作家叫做夏洛特·伯金斯吉尔曼，他接受了这个治疗之后，几乎濒临崩溃。他把这段经历写成了一个故事，叫做《黄色壁纸》。这个故事后来成为女性主义文学的重要作品，从一个减压疗法，竟然衍生出了一部重要的文学作品。历史真的很有趣。维多利亚时代还有另一个很流行的疗法，是电疗。对，就是电。那个年代的人认为，电流可以刺激疲惫的神经，让它重新振作，所以医生会用一种特制的电疗机器，对着病人的头部或者身体各个部位，通以微弱的电流。说起来，这个原理跟现代的经颅直流电刺激其实有一点相似，只是现代的版本更精确、更安全。所以维多利亚时代的电疗师 算是摸到了一点真理的边，只是当时的技术太粗糙了。维多利亚时代还有一个非常有趣的现象，就是自行车热潮。1880年代，现代自行车发明之后，整个英国上流社会都疯狂迷上了骑自行车。医生开始建议病人每天骑自行车半小时，说可以让神经系统放松，促进血液循环，改善心情。这个建议到现在还是对的。研究发现有氧运动，特别是骑自行车，可以显著降低焦虑和忧郁症状。所以维多利亚时代的医生虽然有一些方法很奇怪，但他们建议运动减压这件事是完全正确的。那个时代还有另一个东西很流行，叫做温泉疗养。英国的巴斯城从罗马时代开始就有温泉，到了维多利亚时代，去温泉城市疗养成为了一种时尚。有钱人会带着一家大小去温泉城市住上几个星期，喝温泉水，泡温泉，社交娱乐。医生说温泉水里的矿物质可以疗愈疲惫的身体。你看，从古罗马的温泉浴场到维多利亚时代的温泉疗养，人类对温泉的喜爱跨越了快2000年，这是有道理的。热水真的可以让肌肉放松，促进血液循环，帮助睡眠。现在的研究也支持这个说法。维多利亚时代还有一个很迷人的疗法，叫做海水疗法。那个年代的医生认为，新鲜的海风和海浪声可以疗愈疲惫的神经，所以病人会被建议去海边住几个星期，每天在海滩上散步，呼吸海风，聆听波浪。这个说法也是有根据的。现代研究发现，人类接触水边环境，海洋、湖泊、河流，心理压力指标会明显下降。这个现象被科学家称为蓝色空间效应。维多利亚时代的医生虽然不知道蓝色空间效应这个名词，但他们已经在用这个方法了。好，说了这么多古代的减压方法，我们来做一个有趣的对比，看看这些古老的智慧在现代有没有对应的版本。老子的无为思想对应现代的正念冥想，庄子的大自然漫步对应现代的森林浴疗法，宋代的点茶仪式对应现代的茶道冥想课程，宋代的香道对应现代的芳香疗法，宋代的雅集文化对应现代的社交支持疗法，古罗马的公共浴场对应现代的水疗 SPA， 斯多葛哲学的控制圈概念对应现代的认知行为治疗，维多利亚时代的骑车建议对应现代的运动处方，维多利亚时代的海水疗法对应现代的蓝色空间疗法。你有没有发现，这些跨越几千年的减压智慧，其实在说的都是同样的事，让身体动起来，让心思静下来，亲近自然，放下执念，好好跟朋友在一起。人类几千年来一直在寻找的答案，其实就在这里。那么问题来了，我们现代人知道这些道理，但为什么还是那么容易焦虑？我觉得，可能是因为我们知道道理，但忘了去做，或者说，我们让自己忙得没有时间去做。老子说致虚己守静笃，但我们的手机永远有新的通知。庄子说去大自然漫步，但我们的行事历永远是满的。宋代文人喝茶需要至少半小时的仪式感，但我们喝咖啡是边走路边喝的。所以问题不是方法，而是时间，而是态度，而是我们愿不愿意给自己一点喘息的空间。其实我想跟你分享一件事，就是古代的减压方式有一个很重要的共同点，就是他们都很慢，很刻意的慢。老子说的无为不是偷懒，而是刻意放慢脚步。宋代的点茶仪式，从准备到完成要花上好几十分钟。古罗马人去浴场不是5分钟冲个澡，而是花上几个小时。维多利亚时代去温泉疗养，一去就是好几个星期。现代人的生活节奏跟古人相比真的快了太多，我们吃饭要快，工作要有效率，连放假都觉得要把行程排得满满的，才不浪费。但古人告诉我们，最好的减压需要时间， 需要刻意慢下来，需要让大脑有机会真正的放空，不是滑手机的那种放空，而是真正的什么都不想，让脑袋休息。日本有一个研究发现，人如果在大自然中待2个小时以上，大脑的前额叶皮质会进入一种特殊的休眠状态，这个部位是我们负责思考和忧虑的区域，它休息了，我们的焦虑就降低了。但这个效果需要至少2个小时才会出现，不是10分钟。所以古人花好几个小时甚至好几天沉浸在自然环境中的做法是对的。说到这里， Jenny 想跟你做一个小挑战，这周末你愿不愿意借鉴一下古人的智慧，挑一件事来试试看？比如说泡一杯茶，不是边看手机边喝的那种，就只是安静地泡一杯茶，闻它的香气，感受它的温度，喝它的味道，什么都不想，就5分钟。或者出去散个步，不戴耳机，不看手机，就只是走路，感受脚踩在地上的感觉，听听周围的声音。或者找一个安静的地方坐下来，什么也不做，就让自己发呆，看看天空，看看树叶，让思绪自然地飘。我知道现代人很难做到这些，因为我们被训练成随时要有生产力，随时要有事做，闲下来就觉得在浪费时间。但老子会说，没有什么比让自己的内心平静下来更有生产力的事了。因为一个平静的心，做什么事都事半功倍；一个焦虑的心，做什么事都事倍功半。斯多葛哲学家塞内卡说过，忙碌不等于有意义。你可以非常非常忙，但忙的都是别人觉得重要的事，而不是你自己真正在乎的事。这种忙碌只会让你更空虚，更疲惫。那种从来不停下来思考的人，往往是最迷失的人。我觉得这句话放在今天的社会说得特别准。好了，今天的 Jenny 周末来闲聊就到这里咯。我们从老子的无为哲学出发，聊到庄子的蝴蝶梦，也聊到了苏东坡在各地被贬官却活得比谁都快乐的故事，游历了宋代文人的茶道和香道，跨越太平洋去古罗马泡了个温泉，学了一点斯多葛哲学的控制圈智慧，又搭上时光机去了维多利亚时代，看了那个时代的各种奇特疗法，最后回到现在，发现这些古老的智慧其实跟现代的身心灵疗愈说的都是同一件事。让我们慢下来，让我们静下来，让我们回到最简单的状态。希望今天的节目能让你在这个周末感受到一点古人的从容与智慧，也希望你能把手机放下来一小会儿，好好享受这个属于你的周末。我是 Jenny， 我们下次见咯。Hey everyone, happy weekend. I am Jenny. Welcome to Jenny Weekend Chat. So today, I want to ask you something. Have you ever wondered? Did ancient people get stressed out too? No smartphones, no internet, no social media notifications popping up every 5 minutes. That sounds incredibly relaxing, right? But hold on a moment. They had wars, they had famines, and depending on where you lived, you had a ruler who could literally have your head cut off. That kind of existential threat? I think that is way more stressful than doom scrolling. So today, I am taking you on a time travel adventure. We are going to explore exactly how ancient people dealt with stress. From the philosophy of Laozi in ancient China, to the sophisticated lifestyle of Song Dynasty scholars. From the famous Roman bathhouses, all the way to the quirky wellness trends of the Victorian era. Thousands of years of stress relief wisdom, all in one episode. And I promise you this, some of these methods, you are actually still using them today. You just might not know they were invented by people who lived thousands of years ago. Ready? Let us go. Alright, let us start with our own ancestors. About 2,500 years ago, someone wrote a book, just 5,000 Chinese characters. A tiny, thin little booklet. But it went on to influence the entire Eastern world for thousands of years. You guessed it. That is Laozi and his masterpiece called the Tao Te Ching. Laozi himself is a bit of a mystery. He worked as an archivist during the late spring and autumn period. essentially the director of a national library. Every day he read ancient texts and classic documents. He observed political rise and fall, dynasty after dynasty. And then one day, he figured something out. He asked himself, what is the biggest source of human stress? And his answer was this. It is that constant voice in your head. The one that keeps saying, I need more. I need to be better. I need to be stronger. Laozi said, that right there is the root of all suffering. He came up with a concept called Wu Wei. A lot of people misunderstand this term. They think Wu Wei means doing nothing at all, like some ancient Chinese version of checking out completely. But that is absolutely not what it means. Wu Wei means going with the natural flow of things. Not forcing. Not pushing. Not swimming against the current. Laozi had this beautiful line that I love. It roughly translates as, let the mind become spacious and vast. Keep the inner self steady and still. And honestly, that sounds exactly like what modern meditation teachers say. Clear the mind. Find stillness. Release what you are clutching. Laozi was teaching us the art of decompression 2,500 years ago. Laozi also introduced another concept. The idea that those who know contentment are truly wealthy. Think about that in a modern context. You scroll through social media every day. You see people posting their designer bags and luxury vacations. And suddenly you feel like your own life is completely inadequate. If Laozi were alive today, he would look at you gently and say, my friend, I think you really need to revisit what contentment actually means. Laozi had another brilliant observation too. He said water is the softest thing in the world. Yet water can wear through the hardest stone. He said people are the same. You do not need brute force to solve problems. Softness. Flexibility. Going with the natural flow. That is where real strength lives. Modern psychologists call this psychological flexibility. And research shows that people with higher psychological flexibility cope with stress much better. They bounce back from setbacks more easily. Laozi figured this out 2,500 years ago. Now let us talk about Zhuangzi. He was the great inheritor of Laozi philosophy. But his personality was completely different. Laozi was like a quiet, profound wise elder. Zhuangzi was more like a brilliant, slightly wild artist. Creative, romantic, wonderfully strange, and an absolutely masterful storyteller. Zhuangzi has this super famous story called the butterfly dream. He dreamed he was a butterfly, floating and dancing freely through flowers, feeling completely joyful and unrestrained. Then he woke up, and there he was, just Zhuangzi again. But then he started wondering. He said, am I Zhuangzi who dreamed he was a butterfly? Or am I a butterfly right now, dreaming that I am Zhuangzi? This sounds extremely philosophical. But it is actually pointing at something very practical for daily life. Are your worries actually real? Is your anxiety a fixed truth about the world? Or have you perhaps trapped yourself inside a mental story that you cannot escape? Zhuangzi was using this tale to teach what modern psychologists call cognitive reframing. When you shift your perspective, your entire experience of reality can change. 2,000 years before therapy existed, Zhuangzi was already teaching people how to heal their own minds. Zhuangzi also had another stress relief practice that was remarkably ahead of its time. He loved wandering slowly through nature, observing trees, watching birds and animals, tuning into the rhythm of the living world around him. He said nature never gets anxious. In spring, flowers bloom. In autumn, leaves fall. Nature does not worry about whether this year is more beautiful than last year. It just flows according to its own rhythm. Zhuangzi said we humans should do the same. Simple idea. Genuinely hard to practice. But Zhuangzi actually lived this way. He was so content with a simple life that when the king of Chu offered him the position of prime minister, he turned it down without hesitation. He said he would rather be a free turtle dragging its tail happily in the mud than be trapped and caged in a golden palace. Zhuangzi also had a beautiful story about comparing yourself to others. He told the tale of a cicada. This little insect jumped from tree to tree, perfectly satisfied with its small world. Then it saw an enormous bird called the peng. The peng flew 90,000 li into the sky in a single breath. The cicada looked up and said, why does it need to fly so ridiculously far? My few trees are plenty for me. Zhuangzi said, every living thing has its own scale and its own completeness. The cicada joy is not less than the peng joy. The peng grandeur is not more valid than the cicada contentment. Each is whole in its own way. This story is basically a 2,000-year-old lesson about the comparison trap. You do not need to live like someone else. Your life has its own rhythm and its own kind of beauty. Your happiness does not need to be as big as someone else's happiness to be real. Alright, Now let us talk about the scholars of the Song Dynasty. The Song Dynasty was the cultural peak of Chinese civilization. It produced extraordinary figures like Su Shi, Ouyang Xiu, and Fan Zhongyan. These people were not just scholars or poets. They were genuine masters of the art of living well. And their stress relief methods? Absolutely refined. Beautifully intentional. First up, tea. Now you might think, drinking tea, that sounds pretty ordinary. But Song Dynasty tea culture was nothing like your ordinary cup of tea. They had this technique called dian cha, which means whisked tea. You would grind tea leaves into an ultrafine powder. Place it in a beautiful ceramic bowl. Add hot water in a precise, controlled pour. Then use a bamboo whisk to beat it rapidly into a smooth, frothy surface. This technique eventually made its way to Japan. And it became the foundation of what we now recognize as the Japanese tea ceremony. So yes, what the world often credits to Japan was actually invented in China. A little bittersweet, honestly. But Song Dynasty tea culture went even further. They turned it into a competitive art called do cha, meaning tea battle. People would compete to produce the finest, whitest, most perfectly textured foam. They judged the quality of the water, the precision of the pour, the beauty of the bowl. And here's the part that will genuinely surprise you. Song Dynasty tea masters used the foam to draw pictures right in the bowl. Landscapes, birds and flowers, calligraphy characters. This technique is essentially what we now call latte art. That little heart or leaf pattern the barista draws on your coffee? That concept originated in Song Dynasty China nearly 1,000 years ago. Next time you admire the latte art at a cafe, you are appreciating a tradition with almost a millennium of history. Is that not wonderful? But the deeper point about Song Dynasty tea culture is this. The scholars were not just drinking tea to quench their thirst. They were creating a sacred ritual. A deliberate, intentional way to step fully away from the pressures of court politics and official duties. Focusing completely on one small, beautiful, sensory thing. Letting everything complicated fade into the background. You know what we call that today? Mindfulness. Another remarkable stress relief practice of Song Dynasty scholars was something that might surprise you. Appreciating and collecting stones. Not just any stones. Naturally formed rocks with fascinating textures, strange shapes, and otherworldly beauty. The great literary figure Su Shi, known to most people as Su Dongpa. Most of you probably know him as the inventor of Dongpa pork. But you might not know he was also an obsessive stone collector. He had a famous ink stone that had formed naturally into the perfect shape of a mountain range. He treasured it beyond almost any other possession. Every day he would hold it, examine it, turn it in his hands. He wrote poem after poem about this single stone. He said that gazing at it was like gazing at a real mountain. His heart would naturally settle into deep calmness. And modern neuroscience actually supports this. Research has found that when human beings look at natural fractal patterns, the irregular, self-repeating patterns found in mountains, trees, coastlines, and rock textures, the brain automatically shifts into a more relaxed state. Cortisol levels measurably drop. Heart rate slows. So Su Dongpa using stones for stress relief was not superstition or idle hobby. It was genuinely ahead of its time neuroscience. Su Dongpa also had a remarkable life story that teaches something important about resilience. He was demoted and exiled from the capital multiple times throughout his career. From the prosperous capital, he was sent to remote Huangzhou. Then exiled further to Huizhou. Eventually sent to Hainan Island, which in those days was essentially the farthest edge of the known world. But here is the astonishing thing. Every single time he was exiled, he ended up thriving and finding joy. In Huangzhou he invented Dongpa pork. In Huizhou he fell in love with lychee fruit. In Hainan he immersed himself in local culture and made lifelong friends. He had a famous line that translates roughly as, "Wherever my heart is at peace, that is my home." No matter where he was sent, his inner world remained rich in content. This is the perfect ancient example of what modern psychologists call psychological resilience. Your environment does not determine your happiness. Your inner attitude does. Song Dynasty scholars also practiced something called incense ceremony, or xiang dao. Not the kind of incense you burn at a temple for prayers. This was a sophisticated, meditative art form. They would carefully blend natural aromatic materials, agarwood, sandalwood, camphor wood, and other precious botanicals, mixed in specific proportions, like a master perfumer, then burned slowly in beautifully crafted ceramic incense burners, letting the fragrance drift and unfurl gently through the room. While the incense burned, they would read, have quiet conversations, or simply sit and breathe deeply. Sound familiar? That is exactly what we call aromatherapy today. Modern people plug in essential oil diffusers. Lavender for relaxation, eucalyptus for clarity, bergamot for mood. But Song Dynasty scholars were doing this a full 1,000 years ago. And they were even more demanding about purity and quality. Only completely natural materials. Zero additives. More rigorously organic than most products we consider premium today. There is a beautiful story about a group of scholars gathering one afternoon. One of them brought an extraordinarily rare piece of agarwood incense. They all settled around the incense burner together, closed their eyes, and simply breathed in silence for a long, long time. No conversation, no performance, just presence. And when they finally opened their eyes, one scholar quietly said, "That was the most peaceful moment I have experienced in an entire month." 1,000 years ago, people already deeply understood that silence and fragrance together could genuinely heal the soul. Song Dynasty scholars also had a tradition called yaji, or elegant gathering. A group of friends would meet with no commercial purpose and no professional agenda. Just to appreciate art together, drink tea, and enjoy quiet, meaningful conversation. They would bring beautiful calligraphy scrolls, or ancient bronze vessels, or rare books. And they would share them with each other in a spirit of pure enjoyment. This is essentially what modern psychology calls social support networks. Research consistently shows that people with strong, deep friendships have significantly lower stress levels. Song Dynasty scholars already knew this 1,000 years ago. Good friends, beautiful things, and a cup of tea. Better than any prescription. Alright, now we are crossing the ocean. To ancient Rome. Ancient Roman stress relief culture was, honestly, one of the most sophisticated and systematic wellness systems in all of Western history. The Romans had something absolutely iconic. The public bathhouses, called thermae in Latin. And yes, that is where we get the English word thermal. The largest Roman bathhouse was the Baths of Caracalla. Built approximately 1,800 years ago. How big was it, exactly? It could accommodate 1,600 people bathing simultaneously. And bathing was just the beginning. There were cold pools, warm pools, and steaming hot pools. There were dedicated massage rooms. A full library with reading rooms. Multiple restaurants. Open exercise courts. And galleries displaying art and sculpture. Calling it a bathhouse almost undersells it. It was more like a massive modern wellness and leisure complex. And here is perhaps the most remarkable part. Entry was completely free. Or charged only the most symbolic fee imaginable. Because Roman rulers genuinely believed that allowing citizens to relax and restore their well-being was essential for maintaining a stable, healthy society. Ancient Roman leaders understood the importance of public mental health better than many modern governments honestly do. Romans visited the bathhouse every single day. Not primarily to get clean. They went to have conversations, conduct business, debate philosophy, admire art, hear music. Their entire social life happened at the bathhouse. There was a Roman writer and philosopher named Seneca. He was a famous practitioner of Stoic philosophy. He lived near a large bathhouse and wrote fascinatingly about the experience. He described hearing an extraordinary variety of sounds floating up to his window every day. People singing at the top of their lungs. Weightlifters grunting and slamming iron. People arguing passionately. He said at first all that noise drove him absolutely to distraction. But eventually, through deliberate practice, he learned to maintain complete inner stillness amid all the chaos. And paradoxically, he found that this actually sharpened his focus and his thinking. That discovery is essentially what we now call noise meditation, or urban mindfulness. Many modern meditation programs teach exactly this skill. How to remain centered and clear in a noisy, chaotic environment. Seneca was practicing it 2,000 years ago. Ancient Romans also cultivated a wonderful culture around private garden design. Wealthy Romans would create elaborate, carefully planned gardens inside their homes and villas. With decorative fountains, beautiful sculptures, fragrant flowering plants, and shaded walkways. They firmly believed that being surrounded by natural beauty allowed the mind and nervous system to recover and restore themselves. This idea is now called therapeutic landscape design, and modern research has fully confirmed it. The sight of living green plants and the sound of gently flowing water genuinely lower cortisol levels in measurable ways. This is why so many modern offices are now designed with abundant indoor plants. Floor-to-ceiling windows that bring in natural light. Even indoor water features and living walls. All of this is rooted in exactly what ancient Romans understood and practiced 2,000 years ago. Speaking of Roman philosophy, we cannot skip past Stoicism. Stoicism sounds very academic and intimidating, but its core idea is beautifully, almost breathtakingly simple. 3 words, the circle of control. The Stoic philosophers said this: in life, some things are within your power to control. Some things are completely outside your power. What you can control is your own thoughts, judgments, and actions. What you absolutely cannot control is the weather, what other people think of you, how the stock market moves, or what mood your boss wakes up in. The central wisdom of Stoicism is this: put your energy and attention only into the things that fall within your circle of control. For everything that falls outside that circle, practice releasing it. Let it go. This philosophy has a stunning resemblance to modern cognitive behavioral therapy. CBT therapists tell us that one of the primary roots of anxiety is the habit of pouring mental energy into circumstances we have no power to change. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius was the Emperor of Rome. He faced massive, crushing responsibilities every single day. He commanded armies in brutal wars along the Roman frontier. He managed the complex politics of a vast empire. But every single day, he still carved out time to write in his private journal. He would write down his thoughts, work through his feelings, remind himself clearly what mattered and deserved his attention, and what did not deserve a single moment of his energy. His journals were later collected and published under the title Meditations. That book is still in print today, 2,000 years later. It is still one of the best-selling philosophy books in the entire world. A Roman emperor wrote these thoughts quietly in his private diary. And today, millions of people around the world still read them and find comfort in them. Is that not truly extraordinary? Marcus Aurelius wrote one particular line that I find deeply moving. It translates roughly as, "You have within you more strength than you imagine. You can endure more than you believe." Every time I read that line during a stressful period, it genuinely helps. Give it a try. Now let us take a giant leap forward through time. To the Victorian era. 19th century Britain. This was the height of the Industrial Revolution. And for the very first time in human history, British people were experiencing something completely new. The specific stress of modern urban industrial life. Factory production schedules running like clockwork. No flexibility, no mercy. Cities swelling with newcomers. Crowded, noisy, smoky, overwhelming. The pace of everyday life suddenly accelerated by several orders of magnitude. People began falling ill in new and puzzling ways. Sleeplessness, persistent anxiety, total exhaustion, inability to focus. Doctors of that era became very fond of diagnosing a specific condition. They called it neurasthenia. Basically, if you felt chronically tired, unmotivated, easily overwhelmed, or anxious without obvious cause, the diagnosis was neurasthenia. And the treatments? There were many. Some of them are genuinely sensible and still make perfect sense today. Some of them are, honestly, quite baffling by modern standards. Treatment number 1, move to the countryside. Doctors said city noise, coal smoke, and urban pollution were physically damaging the nervous system. So patients were prescribed extended stays in clean country air and peaceful rural surroundings. This actually makes excellent sense. Modern research confirms that spending meaningful time in natural environments genuinely reduces overactivity in the brain prefrontal cortex. It measurably calms the nervous system and lowers anxiety. The country air prescription was ahead of its time. Treatment number 2, the rest cure. This was developed by an American physician named Silas Ware Mitchell, and it was extreme by any measure. Patients were confined to bed for extended periods. Complete immobilization was the goal. No reading, no writing, no correspondence, no visits from friends or family. Just lying there, completely passive, day after day. This treatment was heavily criticized, especially by women who had undergone it. A writer named Charlotte Perkins Gilman went through this treatment, and it brought her, as she later described, to the very edge of complete mental breakdown. She wrote about her experience in a story titled The Yellow Wallpaper. That story went on to become a landmark work in feminist literature. A deeply flawed stress treatment gave birth to an important piece of literary history. History genuinely loves its ironic plot twists. Treatment number 3, electrotherapy. Yes. Actual controlled electrical currents applied to the human body. Victorians believed that electricity could stimulate exhausted nerves and essentially restart them. Doctors used specialized electrotherapy machines to pass carefully calibrated mild electrical currents over patients' heads and bodies. Interestingly, this actually bears some distant conceptual resemblance to modern transcranial direct current stimulation. which is a real, studied, and increasingly clinically used neuroscience technique. So Victorian electrotherapists were reaching towards something real. They just lacked the precision, the safety protocols, and the scientific understanding of modern neuroscience. They were fumbling toward a truth in the dark. One of the most charming and enduring Victorian wellness trends was the Great Bicycle craze. In the 1880s, after the modern chain-driven bicycle was invented and became widely available, the entire British upper class went absolutely wild for cycling. It was a genuine cultural phenomenon. Doctors began enthusiastically recommending 30 minutes of cycling every day. They said it relaxed the nervous system, improved blood circulation throughout the body, and reliably lifted the mood. That advice is 100% still valid today. Research consistently and strongly shows that aerobic exercise, and cycling specifically, significantly reduces both anxiety and depression. So Victorian doctors, for all their strange ideas, were absolutely right about the bicycle. There was also the beloved and fashionable tradition of spa tourism. The city of Bath in England had been famous for its natural thermal springs since the time of the Romans. In the Victorian era, visiting spa towns became a sophisticated and highly fashionable wellness retreat. Wealthy families would pack up the entire household and relocate to a spa town for several weeks. Drinking the mineral waters, soaking in warm baths, socializing at evening concerts and assembly rooms. Physicians claimed the minerals dissolved in the spring water healed and restored the fatigued body. Think about this beautiful continuity. From ancient Roman bathhouses built 1,800 years ago, to Victorian spa resorts in the 1800s. Human beings have returned again and again to the same healing practice. Soaking in warm, mineral-rich water. Across nearly 2,000 years of history. And for genuinely good reason. Warm water does relax muscles. It does improve circulation. It does measurably support sleep quality. Modern research fully supports all of this. Victorian doctors also prescribed what they called sea air therapy. Physicians believed that fresh ocean breezes and the rhythmic sound of waves were powerfully restorative for exhausted nerves. Patients were sent to seaside resorts for weeks at a time. Instructed to walk along the beach every morning, breathe deeply, listen to the waves, and simply let the mind rest. This turns out to have real scientific basis. Modern researchers have identified what they call the blue space effect. When humans spend time near water, whether ocean, lake, or river, measurable drops in psychological stress markers occur consistently. Victorian doctors did not have that term, but they were prescribing the blue space effect without knowing it. Alright, now let us do something really fun. Let us line up all these ancient practices and match every single one to its modern equivalent. Laozi and Wu Wei philosophy, modern mindfulness meditation. Zhuangzi wandering through nature, modern forest bathing therapy, or Shinrin-yoku. Song Dynasty tea ceremony, modern mindfulness tea meditation programs. Song Dynasty incense ceremony, modern aromatherapy. Song Dynasty Yaji social gatherings, modern social support network therapy. Ancient Roman bathhouses, modern hydrotherapy and spa culture. Stoic philosophy and the circle of control, modern cognitive behavioral therapy. Victorian cycling prescriptions, modern exercise therapy and movement medicine. Victorian sea air therapy, modern blue space therapy. Do you see the remarkable pattern emerging here? Across thousands of years of human history. Across completely different cultures on opposite sides of the planet. Across people who had no knowledge of each other or each other ideas. Human beings kept arriving at exactly the same answers. Get the body moving. Let the mind become still. Connect deeply with nature, whether earth, trees, or water. Release what you cannot change. Spend meaningful time with people you genuinely care about. The wisdom was always there. The answers were always fundamentally the same. So here is the uncomfortable question we have to ask ourselves. If we already have access to all this accumulated wisdom, why are modern people still so chronically anxious and stressed? I think the honest answer is this. We know the theory, but we rarely practice it. More precisely, we keep ourselves so constantly busy that we feel we have no time to practice it. Laozi said to let the mind become spacious and still. But our phones deliver new notifications literally every few minutes. Zhuangzi said to walk slowly through nature. But our calendars are filled from morning to night. Song Dynasty tea ceremony took a minimum of 30 uninterrupted, fully present minutes. But we drink our coffee on the run, one hand on our phone. The obstacle is not lack of knowledge. The obstacle is time. The obstacle is attitude. The obstacle is whether we are genuinely willing to give ourselves real, uncompromised space to breathe. There is something I really want to share with you before we wrap up. Every single ancient stress relief practice we looked at today shares one crucial quality. They are all slow. Deliberately, intentionally, almost stubbornly slow. Laozi did not mean passive inaction when he spoke of Wu Wei. He meant choosing consciously and deliberately to slow down. The Song Dynasty tea ceremony took 30 to 40 minutes from preparation to final sip. Ancient Romans did not dash into the bathhouse for a 5-minute shower. They spent 2 to 3 hours there, minimum. Victorian spa visitors did not take a quick day trip. They relocated for multiple weeks. By comparison, the pace of modern life is almost incomprehensibly fast. We rush through meals. We optimize every task for maximum efficiency. We even feel vaguely guilty on vacation if we are not packing in as many experiences as possible. But every ancient tradition we explored today is saying the same quiet, patient thing. Real healing takes time. Real decompression requires deliberately, consciously slowing the pace. The brain needs a genuine, extended opportunity to rest. Not the kind of rest where you switch from one screen to another. True rest. Genuine emptiness. Letting the mind simply be, without agenda. Japanese researchers found that when people spend at least 2 hours in natural surroundings, the prefrontal cortex, the brain region most involved in worry and planning and self-criticism, shifts into a measurable state of reduced activity. Anxiety decreases. Rumination decreases. A quiet clarity emerges. But this requires at least 2 hours. Not 10 minutes. Which means the ancient practice of spending entire afternoons, or entire weeks, immersed in natural or calming environments, was scientifically correct all along. So here is Jenny's little challenge for your weekend. This weekend, would you be willing to borrow just a little bit of ancient wisdom? Pick one thing. Just one. And genuinely try it. Maybe make a cup of tea. Not the kind where you are scrolling through your phone while you wait for the water to boil. Just sit quietly with your tea. Notice its fragrance rising from the cup. Feel the warmth of the cup in both hands. Taste it slowly, sip by sip. Let your mind drift wherever it naturally wants to go. Just 5 minutes. Completely unplugged. Or maybe go for a walk. No earphones. No podcast. No phone in your hand. Just walk. Feel each footstep meeting the ground. Notice what you can hear. Notice what catches your eye. Or find a quiet spot somewhere and simply sit. Do absolutely nothing. Watch the sky. Watch the trees. Let your thoughts float freely, like clouds moving across a clear sky. Do not chase them. Do not push them away. Just watch. I know this is genuinely hard for most modern people. We have been trained, almost conditioned, to always be producing something. Always achieving. Always optimizing. Sitting quietly starts to feel like waste. But Laozi would quietly tell you, nothing is more genuinely productive than a calm and spacious mind. A calm mind does everything better, with less effort, and with more creativity. An anxious mind struggles through even the simplest things. And Seneca would add, being busy is not the same as being meaningful. You can be extraordinarily busy every single day. But if you are always running on someone else's schedule, toward someone else's goals, that kind of busyness just makes you more hollow and more exhausted. The people who never stop to think, to breathe, to simply be, are often the most lost of all. Alright, that is a wrap for today on Jenny Weekend Chat. We started with Laozi and his timeless philosophy of going with the flow. We explored Zhuangzi and his butterfly dream, and his story of the cicada and the peng. We traveled through the beautifully refined world of Song Dynasty tea ceremonies and incense rituals. We heard about Su Dongpa finding joy in exile, again and again, wherever life sent him. We crossed the ocean to soak in the magnificent ancient Roman bathhouses. We learned the 3-word wisdom of Stoic philosophy from Marcus Aurelius. We hopped into a time machine and visited Victorian England with all its fascinating and sometimes baffling wellness trends. And we came full circle, back to the present moment, realizing that all this ancient wisdom, accumulated across thousands of years and dozens of different cultures, is saying exactly, precisely the same thing as modern mental health science. Slow down. Get quiet. Return to simplicity. Connect with your body, with nature, with the people you love. I hope today brought you a little of that ancient sense of ease and spaciousness. And I genuinely hope you can put your phone down for a little while this weekend. And truly, fully enjoy this time that belongs just to you. I am Jenny. Have a wonderful weekend. See you next time.